Hello, good evening, welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you what I have termed think as an entrepreneur. Think as an entrepreneur. If you start a business, if you have the desire to own a business, to build a company, to at least structure life and build life according to your own terms, there's a way that you have got to think. There's a way that you have got to process how the world behaves and reacts. Hey, Joel, thank you. And so, you see, in the good book, it said that as a man thinks, so he is. As you think, there's a way the poor people think, there's a way rich people think, there's a way politicians think, there is a way teachers think. As a matter of fact, the thinking that you have is the world that you live in. The thinking that I have is the world that I live in. There's a way, even when it comes to religion, there's a way Muslims think, there's a way Christians think, and even if when you break it down, there's a way in the Christians, there's a way the Catholics think, there's a way the the Pentecostals think, there's a way, So your thinking is so crucial to the success that you enjoy in this life. And as an entrepreneur, you must understand that you're dealing with life, you're dealing with this world, your actions are very much separate and different from the rest of the world. Or the rest of the people. And if you don't work on your thinking, especially in this part of the world, uh, you crumble, you quit, you give up quick because you've not worked on you become what you think. See, you become what you think, you become what I think. And the more you develop your thinking, the more mature you become. The more you develop the way you see life, the way you see the profession as an entrepreneur, the more is it. As a matter of fact, the difference between us and where we want to go is the quality of thinking that we are becoming. The quality, our maturity is really the difference in our thought. And so, last 10 years, the way you thought when you started, last 4 years, the way you thought when you started as an entrepreneur is so much different. It must be different from after 7 years, after 8 years, after 20 years, after 3 years. Is the magic is in the thinking. And so I'm talking about think as one, think as an entrepreneur. Some people start businesses and they still think as employees. They still think as product experts. They still think as salespeople. They still think as managers. They still think as, sessional head. The entrepreneur must not think as any of them individually. There's a way that you must think because you're dealing with a lot. And so I'm talking about think as one. Think as one. Your thinking is responsible for the success of the business. Your thinking is responsible for everything that is going on around you. You're thinking about the journey itself as an entrepreneur. You're thinking about the finances, you're thinking about the product, you're thinking about the market, you're thinking about even what they call competition. Your thoughts on so many things that you have to deal with. See, when somebody starts a business, maybe before you had a job. So let's say you are maybe accounts clerk, or maybe you're an engineer working with a company. You're just responsible for the engineering side of the business. You're just responsible for the account side of the business. You don't worry so much about a lot of things. And sometimes when you are working with somebody who started the business, maybe the business has employed 3 people, 4 people, 20 people, 30 people, you will think that the business rests on you because maybe you are just the one in charge of the marketing, or in charge of the sales, or in charge of, let's say, the accounts, you're in charge of the project. So you think everything rests on you. No, not everything rests on you. The one that everything rests on is the one who was before the business started, because the company started. The company didn't start by itself. It started because there was an entrepreneur. There was somebody who thought, who saw a need, somebody who challenged himself to create a business. And so that person must continue to think. That's that. If he gives up on the thinking, if you're not able to shift from thinking as an employee to thinking as an entrepreneur, you will struggle. If you're not able to shift from just thinking as a salesperson or thinking as an engineer to thinking as an entrepreneur, you will shift. You will give up on your business, and so it's so special. It's so crucial how you think as an entrepreneur. There's a way entrepreneurs think. It's not necessarily the same as the way everybody thinks. The entrepreneur is always looking for, you know, he's trying to monetize a concept, an idea. He's trying to create value. He's trying to come out with something that solves a problem in society and see how he can manage, or he can connect, he can employ people, or team up with people to solve that problem. That's what entrepreneurs think. Entrepreneur is thinking, okay, what skill do I have? What skill don't I have? Who else has what I don't have? Who can I connect with? Is able to see the talent in others before they even see that they have that. The entrepreneur must be able to connect and work with people. You're not really looking for the fame. You're not really looking for your name being in front. You're only driven by, okay, how can we put this into business? Some people can cook very well, but they cannot think as entrepreneurs. They cook. So the kind of entrepreneurship that I'm talking, you thinking as an entrepreneur. I'm not talking of the one that the academics define as entrepreneur. I'm talking of the one who is thinking in terms of creating value and in terms of creating employment and opportunity. They say that one of the most crucial duty of an entrepreneur is to be able to create jobs. In any open economy, it's not the government which creates jobs. In the free market, you're supposed to have a lot of pure people being innovative and being able to build business structure around and to create jobs. And so if you have a tabletop business and you want to be there for everything to work, you just have a job for yourself. You're not really thinking as an entrepreneur. I'm talking of the people who can say, okay, I want to sell this, I want to open a provision shop. I will take the bullet, all right, but I'm looking at, okay, how can we do more? How can we get somebody to be involved? How do I source the finance? How do I go to the supplier? How do I get somebody to give me credit? How do I, you don't build everything on you. That's somebody who thinks as an entrepreneur. You're just looking at, okay, how can we share this? You become somebody who thinks in terms of team. You think in terms of growth. You think in terms of multiplication. You think in terms of how can we take more? How can we take? You are driven by that force within. You see life differently from the others. You are more like you're setting goals. You're challenging yourself all the time. You want to become more. You want to do more. It's like somebody who sings. The guys who write music or the guys who play the piano. It's a craft. It's an art. Entrepreneurship is like that. You're trying to paint something. You're trying to produce something. But this time around, the product is business that you're building. The business must be built to run the product. The product itself is not a business. That's why sometimes when I meet, some people and they say that I have this idea, I don't want to tell it. The idea, everybody has an idea. The idea does not mean squat. Idea, everybody has some. Do you have to have any special idea to build a business? I don't think so. There are so many ideas. There are so many ideas everywhere. Do you think that what is the name? Baltic, you sell water. Do you have to have any secret about water? No, just water. But somebody was a business person. Somebody was an entrepreneur who was able to see that, okay, let's take this water. Let's build a system, a structure around this. And the structure runs with people. So the entrepreneur's gift and talent and his thinking is, okay, any idea, the entrepreneur can pick it, build a structure around it, and create opportunities and employment and create prosperity. That's how entrepreneurs think. So he's not just looking for a magic product or a magic business or magic. The entrepreneur can go into farming. And when you go there, the farming that everybody is doing, cattle, the next 10 years, you see that the entrepreneur has combined harvesters, tractors, workshops. He's building, structure and system. That's how entrepreneurs think. You can see that everybody is doing the same things. Everybody is selling this. Everybody is selling cocoa. But once the entrepreneur enters, he's coming with his best asset. His best asset is how to think structurally, systematically. How he's able to coordinate and design business. The duty of an entrepreneur is what? Is for you to pick an idea and design business around it. And go through the streams, go through and take the bullets and take the challenges. So the entrepreneur must not think as an employee. You don't think like that. Yes, you think about the money, but you're also thinking so much about the value that you bring. the value that you bring. So think as an entrepreneur, and thinking as an entrepreneur means that you think structurally, you think systematically, you think of how to monetize this again, you think of how the thing can go beyond what you are capable, and you also think of in terms of talent, where people can come in and bring value, and you also think long term. Entrepreneur must also think long term. Today is 28, the employees are thinking of pay, how to get salary, how to get it in your pocket. Entrepreneur is not thinking of pay; he's thinking of how do I pay them. See, it's a different thinking. The guy is thinking of how do you pay my salary 1,000. An entrepreneur is not thinking of how to get 1,000 salary. He's thinking of how am I going to pay this 20,000, this 50,000 salary that I have to pay these 20 people or 50 people. It's a different thinking. The one who is waiting for 1,000 to be paid is obviously not thinking as the same, or not thinking same as the one who's looking for 50,000 to pay these guys, to pay everybody. So you cannot think as an employee, and the employee is usually thinking of his comfort. Most employees think of their comfort. They think of, okay, I've signed to work for 8 hours. 8 hours, I'm gone. Sometimes some people even say that when I go home, nobody should call me. He's just thinking as an employee. He's thinking of his comfort. He's thinking of self. He's thinking of his convenience. If you are the entrepreneur, you are not thinking of that, especially for the few years that you start. Everything is going to rest on you. Everything. If it breaks, it's on you. If it works, it's on you. People will come in today and tomorrow they quit. It's going to be on you. You will lose some money. Some people will cheat you. If you can't lose money, forget it. If you can say that nobody will cheat me, nobody will run away with my money, people will screw you, people will con you, people will scam you. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. That is how the entrepreneur. And it's not like they enjoy making mistakes. No, but the thing is that the more you're doing, the more a lot will not work. And yet when you stay perfect, you cannot. You're not thinking as an entrepreneur if you stay perfect. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to make profit. You just need to make progress. And that is so much different from the rest. So you think as an entrepreneur, you want to get the work done. You want to push. You want to go. You are not looking for perfection. You're not looking for being right. You're just looking to move towards the goal. And you gather the courage. The entrepreneur must take risk. After all the talking and after all the business plan, after all the nice things that they tell you, you still must take some risk. And the reason is risk is that you can lose time, you can lose money. Sometimes your life could be under threat. And that's entrepreneurs. So you think like that. You think like that. You cannot come in and think. So especially those who have worked in all this perfect environment, when they come to start business and they see all the crazy things, like no, you cannot. That's why you see the other day I was saying that there are so many people with PhDs in business administrations and doctors something who don't own businesses. Do you know the difference? They have a lot of data, they have a lot of information, but they have no business to prove. Why? Or very little business to prove to support the knowledge that they have, because the entrepreneurship comes down to your ability to endure, to persist, the courage to keep going when everything seems like it's not working. Be able to see your stupidity right in front of you and still say that I can do it. So when you have data, when you have all this analysis that they do, then the best companies in the world should be run by the people with a lot of data on business. But really, or unfortunately, it's not like that, because there's something that is not connecting, which is what? Which is the spirit, the courage, the endurance, the rough knowledge that you get from the field. And that's what entrepreneurs think. So you have to think system, you have to think future, you have to think of going to you will go the long haul, you will go the extra mile. That's entrepreneurship. You exhaust yourself, you go through a lot. You should be ready to lose a lot. You are going to lose, you're going to be challenged, your philosophy will change. If you think that you're perfect, forget it. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be right. When they say that, for the first time, do it right. It's not for entrepreneurs, actually. It's for people who are working within a particular system. It is tested. You're just there. You just follow instructions. That way, you don't have to make mistakes. But there's no system. There's no structure. You are the system that you're building. And you're going to make a lot of nasty, crazy, wrong choices. And so you don't go, the entrepreneur is not thinking of, I have to be. No, you just have to move. And that's why some people can tell you, I've registered a business, I've had a business plan, this is perfect, and 20 years, they still have not started anything. They still have not gained anything. And when you start it, no matter what it is, if it's not bringing in any revenue, they say that it's not a business yet. So they tell you it's not a business. You're spending, you're moving. It's not. Once it's not profitable, it's still not. It's still not. It's a project. They say that it's a project. And so, think as an entrepreneur. You're thinking, how do I create this value to create in revenue, to bring in revenue? You think, because and the way you understand finance is not going to be the same as the way the other person understands finance. The other person is waiting for money to go and buy a nice car, a nice house, you see, and dress very nice and smell good, and people calling him manager, doctor, lawyer, things like that. When you start, there's no title. You have the money, but you can't use it to buy a car because it's not yours. You don't even have a, and you don't have to have an office. Can you operate? Because that's how you have to think. If you are thinking of setting up everything beautifully before you start, you are not thinking as an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur must be able to start from where he is with whatever he has. Whatever is available, you start to move. You just move, because that's how entrepreneurs think. But if you want to be perfect, not for your first business. Not for your first business. So you have to think like that. You think through the cash. You're going to make a lot of errors. You're not looking for perfection. You have to be able to connect with people. You have to take the bullet, be a leader, lead yourself, discipline yourself. You cannot sleep like everybody is sleeping. You should be able to get up when everybody is sleeping. You should be able to be, you allow the normal look down. They will look down upon you. It's okay. Yeah, that's not where your drive is. Your drive is being able to get things done. Your dream, being able to get close to it, be realized as you wanting to own a business and wanting to create something that you can employ people and solving problems for society. So think like that. You cannot think as a perfect person, and you're not looking for. You see, that's why the school does not really produce. After, let's say you take a straight line, when you get to the T junction, it splits. Some people will take the path to go and work for the government. Some people will take the path to go and work for individual companies, and some people will take the path of entrepreneurs. And the part of entrepreneurs is the narrow way. Actually, it's very few, 5-10% of every group will ever dare to start a business. And they say that for the first 10 years, just about 1% of the businesses that they start will succeed. That's why you don't stay with one business. You just have to do some other things to make sure that you're surviving, because if you depend on one, you're going to be screwed. Your pressure will be very up, and in a kind of environment, if you have to borrow money, don't borrow money to start a business. Sweat to start a business. And once you start to understand where the money goes, and you really have a need to credit somebody's, to borrow somebody's money, then don't go and take somebody's money to go and just start a business. You will lose the money, and you may not be able to pay it, and you may lose your drive of even starting. And you should also be ready to start as many as possible until you succeed. You're not giving up. You have to have that kind of crazy thinking, until you succeed. Maybe you start one business, it doesn't go well. You start another, it doesn't go well. Everybody will say that you're crazy. You start another one, maybe you go to agriculture, it didn't work. You went to construction, it didn't work. You went to retail, it didn't work. Maybe you start to do another, you start to go, it didn't work. It's not going to work. As usually, the idea that you start, the business that you start, usually it's not even. After 3 years, or 5, 8, 7 years, you see that you started with this idea. But the idea has evolved so much because you have evolved. And so the other things that will help you to think as one is that you are constantly putting stress on yourself and developing yourself. You must have quest for self-development and for knowledge. You must have that. You must always be reading. You must always be studying. Your time is always for getting some kind of information. Develop yourself so much that what you're doing starts to make sense to you. Develop yourself, study the business environment, study the products, study the lifestyle of the various people who have succeeded, and a lot of them who have had a lot of challenges and who have given up. Study everybody and keep challenging yourself, and especially study in terms of the culture, in terms of the context that you're building your business. You see a lot of ideas come from all these areas, but always study the people who have also succeeded here. Think as an entrepreneur. Think differently. When you meet your friends and they're asking you, child, where do you work? Look into their eye and tell them you are building a business. You're building a business. And ask them if they have some people who can order from you, who can buy from you. Always. Never shy that business. Don't be afraid to ask for somebody to give you some kind of referrals. Build and think as one. The other thing that you have to look at is that you have to have um, your basic ethics intact. What I mean is that you should have some kind of self-respect, not to screw people and not to keep cheating and lying on yourself and on the system, because everything that you're trying to build, it must rest on some level of trustworthiness and some level of character. If people know that you are a con man, if people get to know that you're not trustworthy, if people get to know that you're not honest, you have double challenges. But once people who deal with you have respect for the honor and the trust that people place in you as a business person, if somebody gives you money, no matter the challenges that you get to meet, come through, honor your part. Mistakes are acceptable. And we said that just 1% of the businesses will succeed. So you know that a lot of them are not going to work out. But have that respect for yourself, that you're going to treat people well and your word will be yes and no. You may not be perfect, but you would have to have that as a fundament, as a foundation for everything that you're building. There's no point trying to build a business and when your words don't mean anything to you. You don't treat people well, you don't respect people, you shout at people. If you look at somebody who doesn't have anything, you have no dignity for them, you have no future building a business like that. Because eventually those who have really succeeded and those that we are really proud of, one of the things that we hear about from everybody, whether top or down, is that this man is a good man. Because what I know is that most entrepreneurs are just people with a very good, kind heart. So if you struggle with that, you're not thinking as one. You must have that respect for yourself, and I don't think that anybody has respect for himself and will not extend that respect to other people. If you have some kind of self-confidence, you would want to repose that in other people. If you have some kind of character, you expect that people also. So have that as well. See, the value for people trust. Everything that you're building on character. It's so much important, so that you don't go out there trying to take advantage of people. If people work for you, try to pay them. If people do business with you, let them go, knowing that this man stands for what is right. Because it opens door. The people you're dealing with, all of them are talking, whether you know it or not. Your workers are talking, your suppliers are talking, your partners are talking. Everybody is saying something behind. And you only have to know that at least the one that they are saying, if they say that you're not a good person, that should be a lie. They should go out and say that that guy is a good one. He's a good one. He means what he says, and he's a man of character. He's a man of some kind of ethics. And so I think like that. Think like that. You're not thinking in terms of being short. I mean, just cutting corners. It's not needed. It's not important. There are people who have built businesses, billions, and they eventually had to give the money back to society. So why are you going to destroy society to get money that you're going to give back to society? It doesn't make sense to me. So go through the process gradually. Think like one. Think like one. That's why when you go to borrow the bank money, don't run away. Go and pay them. Don't run away. Go and pay them. Don't change the business address. Don't change your address. Go and pay them. If you run away, it will catch up with you again. So think as entrepreneur. That's how they think. They think big. They think large. They think long term. They think respect for people. They have value for money as well. They have respect for money. They don't waste money. If you meet a very genuine person who has worked, you see how they handle the money, you know that this guy worked for the money. The way you see people handle money, it shows whether they work for it or they stole it. It's easy, very easy. When you waste money, it means that you didn't work for it. Those who really work for money have some kind of respect for money. So, and you should know that you have your time structured. You think as one. So when everybody is going for the party, that's not where you're going. You're looking at what can I use this time to do to get more results. So think as an entrepreneur. Think as such. Think as such. Think as such. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about think as an entrepreneur. I'm trying to wrap up, and I'm saying that your thoughts have made you. Whatever that you think That's what is happening in your life. So how you think is what you are. And no matter what people are trying to say, this one will happen to them. Listen, it's what you think. Life settles on your thought, the way you look at life. That's what is responsible for what is happening in your life. How you think. So if you think successful, if you think like you're not a victim, if you think like you can overcome, then no challenge will overcome you. If you don't think broke, you're not going to be broke. If you don't think like a wimp, you're not going to be a wimp. You don't think like a weak person, you're not going to be a weak person. When there is an incident, the way you think about the incident is so crucial. That's why people can get into depression, because they're thinking of the situation that has happened, the incident. It's like, why did they feel like a victim? They feel like they can do nothing about it. That's why they give up. An entrepreneur must not have that. You must not have a weak mind. You must have a strong mind. You must know that everything that happens, you can break through. You can overcome them. It doesn't matter whether it's debt, whether somebody has run away with your money, whether somebody has lied on you, cheated on you, disagreed with you, all those things, whether somebody took the contract from you, whether the business is bent down, whether the farming that you started, you lost everything. What you think about is so crucial. How you think about them is so crucial. How you think about them is so crucial. If you think as everything coming to an end and crashing, you'll be a weak person. So don't think weak. Think strong. Think like, this one, I can overcome it. I just have to re-strategize, reposition, take a break, look at it again and hit back again. And don't think like anything that does not make sense to you means that somebody somewhere is doing you. Nobody is doing you anyway. Think like that. Think like that. Think strong, because your thoughts are responsible for almost everything that is happening in your life. Your habits are formed out of your thought. So check how you're forming the thoughts. The words that you hear, the environment that you get yourself exposed to, they are responsible for who you have become. They are responsible. So if you keep hearing things that are weak, you become weak. That's why you have to create an environment in your room. Create an environment where what you're feeding yourself with every time is something that is bringing the best out of you. It's bringing the strength out of you. You're listening to people who are always feeding the strength, not the weakness. If somebody is feeding you the weakness, they're hammering all the mistakes, that is not going to help you. So think as an entrepreneur. You know that you're a killer. You can overcome. You overcome the situation. It doesn't matter. Because once you're not dead, there's hope. There's hope. But you don't just hope. You must have a strategy to get back in the game. And so it's not so much about the errors. It's not so much, because you're going to make a lot of them. It's not so much about the failures. You're going to make a lot of them. It's not so much about who ran away. You're going to make so much of them. What is important is your thinking. Can you look at the dark situation and extract that which can work for the business? And be proud of it. Never meet people and feel like you're nothing. You don't have anything to do. That's why you started as an entrepreneur. No. The best part to create wealth in this life. Entrepreneurs are the most fulfilled people on this earth, if you don't know. They feel like what they're doing makes sense. They feel like they have control over time. They're making contribution. They're extracting their strength. They're extracting some entrepreneurs. Don't you see how they talk? That's why they say that the entrepreneurs are people who feel like they don't want anybody to create their life. They want to create their own life. And it comes at a cost. But you have to think like that. And nobody should be feeding you all the time to be happy. Feed yourself. Create your own. Have fun. If you feel like you're down, pick a book, read something, play some music. Listen to some tape. Encourage yourself. Don't only feed on motivation. Also feed on something that gives you scale. The product, the sales, the management of the finances, the team, the branding, the structuring of the business, the logistics, the supplies. Study about things that are tools that equip you to succeed. Not just say that I'm not going to give. No, you must have the tools to succeed. You must know what to do to succeed. And that's how you think. So you're not only looking for motivation message, you're also looking for the things that will equip you. Really, because if you're not tooled, you're not going anywhere. So think as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are not looking for salary at the end of the month. As a matter of fact, when you start, I'm not sure. The first year you may be able to even pay yourself. If you had salary and you're working somewhere, you're very happy. Now you step off to start a business. The difference is that you should be able to have endurance to go through the phase that nobody wants to go through. And that phase can be years. Every business that we start, there will be a phase that nobody wants to go through that. And that's the most difficult, torturing phase. And it's usually the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years where the business is not making sense, the business is not bringing anything, you regret entering into the business, you have made so many mistakes, they're coming back at you. If you endure that phase, you will win. And that's why you have to think as an entrepreneur, to know that these are processes, these are phases, and you're going to go to the next stage. And know that your duty is to create opportunities and to employ and to create more jobs. You can't stay with one and think that if you have one employee and anything happens, the business is gone. But if you have 20, 50, 100, you're expanding. If you have one location and it crashes, you're gone. But if you have 20, 3 don't work, 17 will work, So you think like that. Think in terms of growth, you think in terms of expansion, and you think in terms of making yourself irrelevant so that you can equip more people. Your whole duty is to equip the team. Get people on board. And never be afraid that, if I train them, they will go away. No, because you're training them, but you're also training yourself. The training is more with you than them. So you have to have a system and train them, letting them think and work. And you have to know how to trust people and give a lot to people to handle. You have to go through that. And you have to have the knack to at least see who can stay for a bit and who can stay with you and who has the good work ethics and the character and to work for the interest of the business. And those you have to go through a lot to know. So that's how you think. You think differently. And you cannot say that I don't trust anybody. Entrepreneur, you must trust people. Check, but you must trust people. You must have the heart to trust people. And you can hold everything 100%. And you must know that you don't need to be perfect. You just have to make some progress. And the school, the only advantage the school gave you is that it will open door for you. But once the door open, when the door is open, you must enter. And that one goes beyond school. That's why the best guys in school are not the ones starting businesses. They are the one marking us. So you have to have the way you think about your time, the way you think about people, the way you think about money, the way you equip yourself, all of this. The way you think about problems and challenges, they are different from the rest of the way. You don't have to think as if the problem is going to kill you. The problem is another one to push you to the next stage. So don't say that any difficulty you meet. And you have to know that technology is a tool. So use it to build your business and let people trust you. Think as an entrepreneur. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. We have a generation that must lift Africa up. And if you continue to think as people looking for work from the government, job, looking to run away from our country, we are not. We should be the people creating businesses that are employing 100, 20, 30, 50,000, 2,000. And all over the world, the people who have created the empires are the ones with wealth, who are making a lot of changes, and they deal with a lot of heat. So you must know that entrepreneurship is heat, that they fuel you. Heat can also be fuel. The boiler, if you know the boiler is, you burn it in fuel. If you know how the mechanism in the engine works, it's burning, it sparks fire, but then you get the drive from that. So you have to use the heat to get the drive. Don't let the heat burn you and kill you. The same fire, which is burning the plastics, the same fire is refining the gold. So the entrepreneur is the gold. Become better with the fire. You just have to know how the fire, just have to lift your quality so high that the heat will not destroy you. You know that the heat will not destroy you. So thank you. Think as well. Think as a champion. Don't think as a victim. Think as successful. No matter what the business is going through, think and see yourself as successful. Never see yourself as a failure. Many people never even start a business in the first place. So if you started one, never describe yourself as a failure. Use it. If it didn't work, pick the lessons and go and fight another battle. And see yourself as successful. If you see yourself as a failure, how are you going to succeed? See yourself as successful and always ready to learn. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. See, the guy who's here who has $1 million, he thinks he's successful. But if he meets the other guy with $10 billion, if his mind is not strong, he will see himself as a failure. So if you don't have one city and somebody says that he has 10,000, don't compare yourself to say that that person is successful and you're a failure. No, success is a process of thinking. So think success. Think success. Think somebody who is a student for life. And think good of others. Think good of yourself. Dress well. Don't look poor. Even if it's one shirt that you have to wash every day, look like that. Be serious. When somebody meets you, let them see credibility. Let them see somebody who thinks, who wants to solve problems. Don't procrastinate jobs. If somebody gives you work, do it and do it well. That's why you become successful as an entrepreneur. And never beat down yourself and treat people and just be good. Be interested in the welfare of others. It's so much critical. It's so much important. And be interested in our country and its development. Patriotic, and keep your talent, your character in that. And God is happy with such people. If you apply these principles, that is how you are looking for the miracle. The miracle is in the principles and their application. You know, so don't wait. Hope that things will change. Make the changes. That's entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs think. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.